Okay, welcome back. So what we're going to do now is we are going to model the panels for the sliding door here. So how we're going to do that is we are going to use basically a curtain wall within a curtain wall. So what we can do is we are going to make a new mullion type like we did for this one. So we're going to go into new family and we're going to grab a metric profile. We'll go profile mullion, open that up, and then we can just make this like, we'll say maybe like 25 millimeters on each side, so like 50 millimeters thick. So for the offset, we're gonna go pick lines, offset 25. Then you just hover over the kind of middle line and click. And the family tells you that this is the interior, exterior, and it kind of gives you a certain set of parameters to help you understand what you're making. So what we're drawing right now is basically this, like the section, like the profile section, and then this 2D profile is going to be hosted. So we will go like this, and then we're going to type TR and just trim these lines up. And I'm going to save this and call it door profile. And then I'm going to load this into the project. And now we repeat the same process that we did for this one. So again, go into the families in the project browser, go down to rectangular mullion, duplicate whichever, doesn't really matter which one you duplicate, and then you call it just whatever you like. Once you're in the family that we duplicated, you're going to just change the profile to the one we just made. And I'm going to give it, again, the same material that we made the original mullion. Just apply, okay? Alright, so now what we can do is we're going to tab select the panel, the glass panel. We are going to come here to the drop down and we're going to change this to a curtain wall. And so now with this curtain wall, we're going to duplicate it. We're going to call it whatever. And now for the border types, we're going to go with that mullion that we created. I need a door mullion, I think. So I'm going to copy that to border 1 and border 2 right here. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the borders, for the horizontal mullion borders. I'm going to hit apply. Okay. And now, as you can see, we have, if I go into shaded view, now we have that that door profile, which looks pretty good. And if we go back into our image, just to better understand this, these these profiles are flush kind of with this mullion. So what I'm gonna do is push this one to be flush. I'm gonna see if I use AL, will that fix it? No, okay. So what I'm gonna do is tab select the curtain wall. I'm gonna go to location line offset, and I'm just gonna kind of play around with this. I'm gonna go maybe 50, maybe 100. Okay, that's too much, I think. 90. 75. Let me go into plan view. Let's go into like first floor. Sorry, ground floor. Okay. Okay, let's look at this. 60 maybe? 60 plus. So 75 should be correct. I'm gonna type 75 here. And that's still peeking out. Let me just see what's happening. Okay, so what's happening is that the panel has a separate offset from the curtain wall. So I'm gonna go back into the floor plan. I'm gonna type AL, this should work actually. I'm gonna grab this boundary and then, no, maybe that didn't work. Move, maybe? No. Okay. I just gotta play around with the offset. 100? I think 100 was, no. 90, 75, 85. Okay. So that looks pretty good. Now we just have to fix the glass, because the glass is kind of, if I go into like texture or realistic, the glass is kind of like not sitting correctly in the frame. So how we can fix that is we have to tab select the panel, the actual glass itself. We can go edit in place. Okay. And then we'll just take this glass and we're gonna move it with the shape handles. Or you can type in values here. I'm just gonna kind of pull this back to about there. And I can lock it and then just hit finish. You can do it a more precise way by inputting the values, but all I really care about is that it's kind of embedded in the frame itself. So I can come here and just now that we've created this, we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna take we're gonna use our tab key on the keyboard to select the glass frame, and we're just gonna change it to the one we created. And so for this offset, because the door is sliding this way, this offset has to be further back. So I'm gonna tab select the curtain wall. You know you have it when this kind of border pops up, and Revit can be very subtle with the selection, so just keep in mind, really pay attention to what's being highlighted and what the cursor is saying. So the cursor is saying curtain panel, it tells you the family first, and then it tells you the category first, then the family, and then the type. So that's what's popping up. Curtain panel is the category, curtain wall is the family, and then the one whatever I named it, whatever you name it, is going to be the type. So I'm going to take the location line, and I'm just going to go maybe like minus 25, maybe, or even more, minus 35, right? Just to create this sliding door. And we have to fix the glass. And I think this happens because the work plane is, the default work plane is not sort of, it's on a different kind of plane than the offset. So again, I'm just gonna move this back. And again, all I care about is that it's flush with the within the pane. I'm gonna hit finish, and then that looks pretty good. So now that we have our door, we're going to now move to the stairs. So if we look back at this image, we have a concrete step here, and we have 3 treads and 3 risers. So I'm going to come into the ground floor plan. I'm going to take, here's drawn out for us. So based on that image we imported originally, that I imported, I'm going to come into architecture tab, go with stairs, stair. I'm going to go monolithic stair, and I'm going to go from the first constraint that it wants you to Revit to understand that you tell Revit is from what level is the stairs going to, and based on what level you choose in your project, Revit will calculate the amount of risers, the amount of stairs needed based on the parameters of the level changes, the height change, and whatever parameters you give it, how thick you make the treads, etc. So we're just going to take, this and just see what happens. I'm going to pull it from, sorry, before I do that, I'm going to go from ground floor to, no, sorry. I think it was foundation was where I made that actual ground plane. So we're going to go from foundation to ground floor. Okay. And now, if I just quickly measure this, the width is about 843. So I'm going to make it 843 here in the run width. And now we're going to click and then just drag from here. We're going to finish and see what happened. Okay, so let me see what happened here. So Revit automatically creates railings. We don't care about the railings, so we're going to delete them. And now I need to understand what happened here. So if we go back to our image, we can see that the risers are roughly maybe around 7 inches. So we're going to come back into Revit, and we're going to duplicate the stairs. We're going to call it entry stair. We're going to make the riser height greater. Let's go like maybe 200. depth. The depth is going to be thinner because you notice in this photo that the tread depth is a thinner distance than the height. So we're gonna go like 190. See what happens. We're gonna go apply and OK. And we're gonna see what it said. Stair top end exceeds or cannot reach the top elevation. Okay. So if I change the desired number of risers to 3, what happens now is that Revit automatically adjusts the geometry of the stairs based on the parameters that you give it. So what I'm going to do is go back into the floor plan and just see what's happening. So the width of these stairs is roughly 255. So if I go back into the type properties, I'm going to make the depth 255 and see what happens. Stairs, typically you kind of have to play around with it. Alright? That kind of, sometimes it's a little finicky. But we're actually getting closer to what the actual stair looks like in the photo. What we need to do is we have to basically cut the stairs off from these two risers. We don't want these two. So I'm gonna edit them. And when you edit the stairs, what you can simply do is just pull this back. So now that we have 3, we can hit finish. Right? And now, if I go into a different photo, excuse me, of this kind of house, I just want a different angle of these stairs. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna take the stairs. I'm gonna come into the ground floor, and I'm just going to basically align it. So align it to the kind of edge of the wall, and just go back into 3D. And now we have a pretty accurate representation of what that stairs looks like. I'm going to come back into the ground floor, and I'm going to do the same thing for the stairs that we have here on the back side. So I'm going to do the same thing, go back to Architecture tab, stairs, and I'm just going to sketch using that type property that we made, that type family. I'm just going to sketch it out. What I didn't do was I didn't change the constraints first, so remember to do that to select the right levels. So we want foundation to ground floor. We want 3 risers, maybe 4. And just hit OK. And now we can just take these kind of, before you hit finish, you can take these toggles, and Revit will understand that you want to lock it onto the wall. So we're going to lock this onto the wall, and then we're going to drag it like so, and hit OK. So now what you can do, if you have trouble seeing something, because we need to really better understand this junction right now, you can select the, you can hold Control on your keyboard. You can hit, you can Control click. That's going to grab the floor, or sorry, the wall. We're going to Control click the stairs we created, and we're going to Control click the ground floor. And now what we're going to do with these selections is we are going to come into the glasses here, temporary hide isolate, and we're going to isolate element. And what this is going to do, if you hit escape, you're going to have everything, only these three elements showing, because we need to really understand this junction. So what is happening here? We need a landing that will act as the final riser. I just want to go back into that image of the back entrance. Where is it? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we can notice that the landing isn't actually flush with the door. There's a little bit of a gap. It's flush with the top of the stairs. So what we are going to do is we're going to come into the stairs here. I'm going to go edit stairs, and then we're going to take a landing, and we're going to sketch it out. So you can do this in 3D. Typically, it's not letting me because I think we're in isolation view, so I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to hit finish. I'm going to delete these railings, we don't need them. And actually, for our purposes, I'm going to go into the ground floor. I'm going to go landing again, sketch. And then we're going to go just have we're going to use a rectangle and just kind of go along the boundary here. And hit finish. Finish again. And so that looks pretty good. The only thing is that it needs to be a bit thicker, because in our image it's about it goes down to the thickness of the wall here. So I'm going to take that railing, and I'm just going to change the thickness to something like 300. Okay, so we are 100 away. So we're going to come back into the stairs, edit stairs, grab the landing, and then just make it 400. Hit OK. Hit finish. and now we have that monolithic landing. Okay, welcome back. So we're gonna do a couple things now. We're going to put the door here. We're going to fix the roof a little bit. We're gonna add a gutter. And then we're gonna do the windows. So let's get started. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come to the roof. I'm gonna edit the type, and I'm gonna make it just a bit smaller. We'll go 100 millimeters. Hit apply and OK. Put this door in. So we're gonna come to the Insert tab, load Autodesk Family, and you're gonna go to the door category, and you're gonna find this one, door exterior fire escape. I already loaded that one in, so I'm not going to do it right now. Once you load it in, you're going to go to the architecture tab, door, and as you can see, mine's already loaded in right here in the properties panel. So I'm simply just going to hover over, and Revit knows that it's a door, obviously, so it's going to host onto the wall. So I'm just going to click, and we can kind of straighten this out later, but for now, this looks pretty good. So now we are going to we're gonna do the gutter. For some reason, this thing it's not flush with the roof, so let's fix that. We're gonna go into the section, and we're gonna try and figure out what's happening with this. If we change the detail to fine, you'll actually see the geometry here. So what needs to happen is that these raptors need to be flush with the framing. So what we need to do is we actually need to make another reference plane. So if you type RP on your keyboard, you're gonna click at the corner of the substrate, and what we're gonna do is just pull this out so we can see it. You can name it whatever you want, and then now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into Modify tab, hit Cut, and we're gonna choose the framing and then the reference plane, and just repeat. Click the framing first and then the reference plane. And right now we're not seeing what we're doing, but you'll see in a moment. Just keep repeating these steps. And now if we go into the 3D view, you'll notice that those rafters are now cut square, more or less, to the framing, which is what we want for the gutter. So I'm going to keep repeating this process. On the other side. So again, I'm going to type RP and just repeat the same steps. So it looks like for some reason, our view distance, if you notice that I cut these rafters, but these ones are not cut, that's because we have to go into the floor plan, and we have to understand where our section is being cut from. So if I hover over this, we know that it's our section because Revit displays what the name of the view is. So when you click on your section, you're going to see this this kind of this toggle, and this is helping us understand how far away the section is being displayed. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull it back. So this range encompasses our entire building, and when you go back into the view, you're going to see we're going to see those rafters that weren't cut. So I'm going to finally just repeat the same steps as before to cut the rest of the rafters square. can go ahead and model the gutter. So if we really look at this image closely, we can kind of see, understand the shape of it, and how that actually attaches to the geometry. So I think our substrate needs to be even thinner. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this like 50. Hit OK, apply OK. And now that that's square, I'm gonna come in with a model in place. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Architecture tab again, Component, Model in Place. We're gonna call this maybe, we can classify it as maybe like a roof. Don't have to name it, hit OK. And then now in this environment, we're gonna set the work plane. So this is gonna determine where we wanna sketch. What we're gonna do first is we are going to, we'll set the work plane. So we're gonna pick this face of the substrate. Then we're gonna come in with a sweep. We're gonna pick sweep. And now everything's grayed out because Revit wants you to specify the path. So you can sketch a path or you can pick a path. We're gonna pick a path. And Revit is gonna highlight these edges of the roof. So we're gonna pick probably, we'll pick the underside maybe, like so. Okay, and you're gonna see this pop up. So we're gonna hit finish. So now we have the path, and now the second part of the sweep is sketching out the profile. So we're gonna come into Edit Profile, and we're gonna make some guesstimations on the size of this gutter. We might say like, I don't know, maybe like 80 mil, maybe like 70 mil. So I'm going to take just a line and I'm going to sketch now on this plane. We'll go like 75 maybe. And now we're going to come in with a start end radius arc. We're going to go start end. And then as you pull down, Revit is going to basically create the radius distance. So that looks pretty good. So we're gonna hit finish. Finish again. And now we have our gutter. So the issue is that this is kind of flat. This shouldn't be flat. So I'm actually gonna go back and change the profile. And what I'm gonna do is offset this this arc by maybe like 10 millimeters, like so. And then I'm gonna type SL to split this line, and then just trim it up, TR trim, and then hit finish again. And I'm just gonna quickly assign the material and make it this aluminum, and hit finish. Okay, so now we have our gutter, and now to do the ends, we're gonna go select it, go back into Edit in Place. We're gonna choose our sweep, go to Create tab, and we're just simply gonna choose Extrusion, and then we're gonna go pick lines, and we're gonna pick the edge. Actually, before I'll set the work plane to this edge, and then I'll go pick lines. And then you can remember that you can use tab to just change the selection. So I'm going to choose these edges, and then type TR and just trim this up, and make the extrusion end like 20 20 millimeters. And I'll also make this an aluminum material and hit finish. Okay. And now that we have this end, we can go into the elevation. Is it west? No, it's east. So in east elevation, you can go back into edit in place. You can select the cap we just made, type DM on your keyboard, and we're going to find the midpoint of this. If you kind of just hover over this, typically you'll find it, maybe. We'll go from, right here. So we're going to click once and then drag down, and that's going to mirror the cap to the end, the other end, and then we're going to hit finish again. Okay, so now we have a gutter with a cap and a cap on the other side. So let me look at this again. I'm going to zoom out. So it might be a touch small, but for our purposes, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to take if you want to create these kind of ribs here, we can make that as well. I'm going to go back into edit in place. And then I'm actually going to probably do this in, maybe what I'll do is I'll create an extrusion. I'm going to go set work plane. I'm going to pick maybe this face. I'm going to come in with pick lines. I'm going to hit tab and just simply pick this edge. I'm going to quickly just look at this again. So these kind of come out a little bit. So I'm going to come out like maybe 5 on each side. And then I'm going to offset this arc by 5. And hit finish. And now I'll make this smaller. I'll make it like 10 thickness, 10 millimeters. I'll hit finish again. And right now that's kind of in an awkward spot, so I'll actually just select the whole thing, and I'll just simply move it. I'll see where it goes. Yeah, so you don't want to move it. We're just gonna simply use these kind of shape handles to just drag it. And then once we have it in like a good spot, we are going to go back into the east elevation view. And now we're going to use the array. Okay, we are going to choose what we made here. And then we're going to go to array. I'm going to make this number like 20. And just make sure linear is checked. Constrain. And then we're going to choose the middle. And we're going to go all the way to roughly about here. And hit finish. Hit OK. Now if we go into 3D, if you look at it in 3D, we have our ribs. I'm going to take, because we did a model in place, all of these kind of elements are kind of grouped together on their own. And if you want to go back into this environment, you just simply go edit in place. What I'm going to do is just select the whole thing. I'm going to go into our site plan. And with the gutter selected, I'm going to type DM. With copy selected, I'm just going to go from the middle point and then just copy it. And it's going to duplicate to the other side. And now we have a gutter on each side, which is looking pretty good. Okay. So now we can move into the windows. Before we make the windows, there's sort of like a catch basin here for like rainwater collection. If I go back into the image, the photos, you might be able to see this better. Yeah. If I go here, so what we have is this catch basin here, and we have this kind of spout coming from the gutter. So what we're going to do first is make these as walls on a floor, and then we're going to do the spout. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So let's go back into Revit. What we're going to do is we're going to make a new level. So we're going to go into north or west elevation, or no, east elevation, sorry. We'll lower the scale. And what we can do is come into Architecture tab, Level, and maybe just use the pick lines. Or no, we'll just create a new level actually. And we'll click once, and then it'll lock to our other ones. So we can call this maybe like catch basin. So 1.5 meters or a meter sounds about right. Roughly a meter from the ground floor. Maybe slightly smaller. Yeah, maybe like 1 meter. So it's going to go from our bottom of our ground floor to our catch basin level. So now we're going to come back into our ground floor. And using the drawing, we can kind of see the boundary of where this is supposed to be. So I'm going to go WA, and I've duplicated a wall, and I've made it 200 millimeters thick. So with this wall now, I'm just going to come in and simply trace this boundary. And now with these walls selected, I'm going to make the top constraint the catch basin, and the base constraints will need an offset. So let's go into 3D view and figure that out. What we can actually do is we can use these shape handles and just drag them to the underside of the floor construction, and then lock them to that level so they don't move. And we're just now going to just create a floor for this. So simply just as we've done previously, go to floor. We can maybe duplicate this